Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald, here to tell you to go support Going In Raw and Friendo Club at patreon.com/Steven Larson. They got bonus episodes, ad-free audio, a weekly newsletter rounding up the weekend wrestling news, and a bunch more. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Go support or get hit with a stunner.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Do not adjust the settings on your television set because, yes, we are doing this earlier on a Friday, part of the new way. We're reclaiming our Friday nights. And so, but, you know, we're still going to give you guys five. Is that right? 5 or 6?
Yep,
Yeah, five podcasts a week.
5 podcasts a week. Yep.
And sometimes more if there's pay-per-views on the weekends.
Indeed.
So, yeah, that's still happening. And I like, man, Thursdays we don't do a podcast, but there's always news that happens on Thursdays. And then, of course, usually the Wrestling Observer drops his newsletter. There's all sorts of great little chunks in there. Yes. So there's all sorts of stuff for us to talk about. And the cool thing about doing it this way, man, is that we both watched Impact Wrestling. So now we officially are going to be covering Impact and NXT UK in the podcast realm.
I don't know. I can't say if this is with a great degree of certainty, but I think we might be the only podcast that covers NXT UK now.
That would not shock me.
I could be wrong.
That would not shock me.
I'm probably wrong.
You would think that with the 30 podcasts going on over there at Fightful with their overbooked channel and all that stuff, somebody'd cover it, but I don't know, man.
I don't know. So I'll put that out there and then
Maybe
please
not.
correct me. Please correct me if I am wrong.
Yeah.
Because I would like to be wrong here because NXT UK deserves a lot more coverage because they are WWE's best weekly television program.
It is. Absolutely it is, man.
So if I'm
Banger
wrong,
matches.
please tell me. Please tell me.
I got, you know what, man? I'm even, NXT UK Insider, I got Wolfgang on my Twitter following me, responding.
Oh, what do you have to say?
To important questions. My question to him was, hey, man, you got to keep your guys together in Dallas.
What do you say? Yeah, what do you say?
He said, I'm trying to. Exclusive.
There we go.
Exclusive right here. Anyways, Larson, enough of that mumbo jumbo. Why don't we go ahead and roll right into the news? A lot of people are talking about. We're talking about the finale there to last Wednesday's episode, this past Wednesday's episode of Dynamite, with the debut of Satnam Singh. And on the latest edition of Busted Open, Tony Khan talked about the fan reaction, which, anecdotally speaking anyways, was not great to his debut on this past Wednesday Dynamite. These transcripts come to you from Fightful. He said this, simply, I could have done it better. It's one of those things I wish I had done it differently because the fans are always going to be right. So if the fans don't like something, sometimes there's something where you're trying to get heat. So if you're in a trying to get heat situation, people aren't always going to love it, but there are things about it that I probably should have done differently now that I see in hindsight. To be honest, it wasn't my idea to turn the lights out, but I am the ultimate filter and who everything goes through. I put the outline of the show together, and when I came in Wednesday, I thought it was the best outline I had ever put together. One of them, at least. It was as much strong wrestling as you could fit into the program, and I thought up to that point, the show was excellent. That was one of the things we went off on. People might not have liked it. Satnam is an important person for us. It was important to debut him in a meaningful way, and to show that with Jay Lethal, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. At the same time, turning the lights off for somebody people didn't recognize, that's a great point. To be honest, the person who brought off turning the lights off has over 30 years of experience in pro wrestling. When they brought it up to me, I was only looking at the pros, and I should have thought about the cons, because that is my job as the person who decides what goes in and who filters out these ideas. I should have seen the negatives before we did it, and I really didn't see them until it actually happened. That's not Satnam's fault. It's definitely not Lethal's fault. At the same time, I'm very excited for it. It created a lot of buzz. Satnam's debut has been the most watched thing out of the show, and it's gotten international attention. I wanted it to get, but I didn't want it to loom over a lot of great stuff on the show either, and I don't think it has or will. His main qualm seems to be with the thing that he didn't bring to the table, which was turning the lights out.
Well, I could see that point because when you turn the lights out, the expectation is, maybe we talked about in the recap, the expectation is some huge, massive surprise.
Yeah, Claudio cameraman.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not to say that Satnam Singh won't be an important part of AEW or Ring of Honor going forward. Mm-hmm. Just that bar is set, especially in AEW. Lights come down, they come back up. Something major is about to happen.
Yeah.
And when the lights come up and it's somebody who's enormous and imposing and someone they might have high hopes for, but if the fans don't know who it is, it's going to come off as a bit underwhelming.
Yeah, I want to start with this, man. This dude rolls up the Dynamite with an outline that he calls the best outline he's ever written, and it had one single 2.5 minute women's match. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah,
that's a whole other issue. It's a point I bring up in my WrestleJuice video today. So go check that out over at youtube.com/WrestleJuice. Yeah, I don't know, man. It is kind of funny because there is a bit of passing the buck here for Tony. But you know, I don't know. I guess he's, you know, a billionaire. I guess he's going to do that. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I think that there are plenty of people talking about how awesome Joe versus Suzuki was. Mm-hmm. You know, plenty of people talking about how great that Keith Lee Swerve Team Taz match was. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like the goofiness of this giant lumbering dude, you know, reminiscent of Giant Gonzalez, Great Khali showing up. It's just, you know, because WWE, anytime AEW does something that is sort of like reminiscent of like things that aren't in huge favor that WWE does, like the big lumbering guys. Now, for all I know, the Satnam Singh guy is going to be great. I don't know.
Yeah.
But whenever you see like a legit 7-foot+ guy lumbering about in a wrestling ring, you think of some of those characters in wrestling past that are not necessarily all that fondly remembered. And because AEW tries to be an alternative to that kind of thing, it sticks out like a sore thumb. I think that's one of the things that people.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. Like AEW has a very specific approach. I'm not going to say style, but approach to wrestling.
Yeah, right.
And they on occasion will dip into sports entertainment territory. I mean, that's Jericho's whole thing now.
Mm-hmm, yeah, right.
But one thing they've kind of stayed away from is wrestlers who are attractions more so than wrestlers, you know?
Sure. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We saw 90 seconds of what Satnam Singh could do. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's going to go in the ring and then he's going to, you know, be like a technical a genius in the ring. What
if he's like a 7-foot Ninja Mac?
Yeah. What if he's a 7-foot Zack Sabre Jr.? We don't know these things. We have a small sample size. So it's entirely possible that he goes there and he's a really good wrestler. Mm-hmm. We just don't know. All we have to work off of is 90 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think it had anything to do with the lights going out. I really did. I mean, I understand your point. Like you put the lights out, you put the lights on. You think it's going to be, you know, somebody big like Claudio Cameraman. But regardless of the lights coming on or off, I think it had more to do. Even if this dude had attacked from behind and the lights had stayed on, I think people still would be like, what the hell is this guy? You know?
They would have done that, but I think the expectation for the lights down trope is something huge.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I mean, like people have been like, who's this guy? But
I don't know.
The expectation with the bar wasn't set for the lights out thing with something huge happening, then, you know.
In my opinion, it would have been the exact same. In that alternate universe where 30 years of experience dude didn't show up and say, turn the lights out, and instead they just had him attack from behind or something. Social media reaction would have been the exact same. It would have been, what is this guy? Why did he show up? Why didn't they end on the middle finger coming out of the box? Because
that's, clearly, I mean, like after we pitched that idea, it's a no-brainer. You go with that.
Right. Yeah. Where's the guy with 30 years of experience doing that? Where's the guy with 30 years of experience saying, why don't you take a couple minutes out of each of your multiple 15-minute plus matches
and give us
some more women's wrestling?
I know.
Why don't you do that? You got Hikaru Shida on your show. Why don't you show her wrestle?
Because she's really good.
Really good.
She's really good. There's a lot of really good wrestlers. I know.
Can we? Hey, instead of those.
She's on Rampage tonight.
instead of those where's Wardlow signs. Well, that's great. She's on Rampage.
Yeah.
But how long has it been since we've seen her?
A while.
Forever.
Wow. It's been a while.
Anyways, yeah, there's bigger problems in AEW than
absolutely.
And I'm talking as an AEW sweaty. I appreciate the AEW, man. I'm sweaty all about them. They're not perfect. They need to fit more time for the women.
You got that right. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, Lumen. Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Let's talk skincare.
Okay.
So I'm sure a lot of friendos out there were once like me. Your skincare routine probably consisted of washing your face with the same body wash or soap you use on the rest of your body. And you probably thought, hey, this is good enough. Yeah? No. I've actually got some bad news for you. That body wash you've been using all these years is damaging your skin.
Yeah, man, that's totally true. But with Lumen, you can drop that bottle of 3-in-1 and start using products that actually take care of your skin. Lumen's products aim to help those with stubborn acne scars, under-eye dark circles, wrinkles, sun-damaged dry skin, and oily skin. And getting started is easy. All you got to do is take the 2-minute quiz on their website, and they'll tell you which skincare routine is best suited for your needs.
Yeah, I took the quiz and got the anti-fatigue essential set to help with these dark circles under my eyes. And with Lumen, I know I'm getting high-quality products made with natural ingredients like licorice root extract, rose flower oil, charcoal powder, ginger, and green tea.
So level up your skincare game with Lumen Skin today. Go to lumenskin.com/raw to get your free trial of Lumen's products.
And let's get a word from our sponsor, Blenders Eyewear. Fresh from the sandy beaches of San Diego, California, comes the only sunglasses brand I'm ever going to wear again. I'm talking about Blenders Eyewear, and you're going to be just as hooked when I show you how awesome they are. I got myself a pair of, look at these, Ice Crush shades.
Wow.
And they're my go-to sunglasses to wear on my morning walks or out running errands.
Yeah, man, I got me some Stone Breakers. Yeah. Blender's team of in-house designers are always coming up with new styles, too, like orange polarized wraparounds, tortoise shell frames with purple lenses, and classic gold arms on black lenses.
And I like expensive, big brand shades. Blenders are actually affordable and still offer the same cool factor as other leading styles. And they've got more than sunglasses. Blenders offers prescription glasses, readers, and blue lights, as well as the snow collection with goggles and accessories. So live life in forward motion with Blenders today.
To score 15% off your Blenders purchase, visit blenderseyewear.com and enter promo code RAWVIP. That's blenderseyewear.com, code RAWVIP for 15% off. Blenders, rocked with pride worldwide. And before we get back to the show, let's get a word in from our sponsor, Get Upside. Hey, Larson.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that basically everything is getting more expensive these days? From gas to groceries to dining out, inflation is really hitting us in the wallet.
Yeah, I have noticed that, Steve, which is why I started using Get Upside. I've been using their app when I'm out buying gas or eating out, and I'm getting cash back with every purchase. Just last week, I went and bought some gas, put in my car, and after that, I bought a burrito, put in my belly using Get Upside, and now I've got a few extra dollars waiting to be spent on more gas, perhaps more importantly, more burritos.
Oh, man, I love when burritos are in my belly.
Yeah.
They're so delicious. But so are the offers you can get through Get Upside. All you got to do to get started is download the Get Upside app in the App Store or Google Play. Open it up and claim an offer for whatever you're buying. Then check in and pay as you normally would with a credit or debit card and get paid. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon or a bunch of other brands.
So download the free Get Upside app and use promo code RAW to get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more using promo code RAW. Let's talk about another thing that's been the conversation in the wrestling world. People get new names, Steve.
Yeah.
So we've seen a bevy of NXT comps of late. Most noteworthy, perhaps, Pete Dunne, now Butch.
Yeah.
Walter, now Gunther.
Improvement. Keep going.
Raquel Gonzalez, now Raquel Rodriguez. They all got new names on their way to the main roster. So we've assumed, you're just saying that to irritate. We've assumed this policy was instituted to kind of protect WWEIP, their intellectual property, the names of these characters, should they move on to other companies after time WWE has come to an end, whether through departure or being released. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reports that Vince himself has apparently decreed that nearly everyone coming into WWE now gets a new name. This is what Dave had to say. Quote, the actual story behind this is all the talent got a memo, and Vince McMahon decreed he doesn't want anyone new using their real names anymore, nor names they've used before on the indie scene. Walter became Gunther because Walter was both his real name and a name he used on the independent scene. Raquel Gonzalez kept Raquel, not her real name, but had to drop Gonzalez, her real name. Many thought Austin Theory dropped the Austin because of Steve Austin, but it's actually because his real name is Austin White. Raul Mendoza is a WB name, except Raul really is his first name, so he had to ditch it. As is always the case, the memo only applies to people who are newer and who they decided applies to. Randy Orton isn't going to change to Frank Trevino, and Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey don't have this applied to them. It would be nutty if Riddle has to change his name because Riddle really is his last name, but it looks like this applies most of people just coming to the main roster and doesn't apply to Cody Rhodes. But from this point forward, they don't want anyone new using former names from elsewhere or real first or last names, except if you're Gable Steveson. And this policy, that is, I believe, will change soon enough like it always does.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's good business right there. Plus, all these names are way better anyways, dude. Butch, come on. That's an awesome name, dude.
No, it's not. It's a terrible name.
Whoa, don't yell at me.
It's an awful name, Steve. Awful.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are kind of silly. Like, Austin Theory. I honestly figured, this is Austin. If you got big plans for a guy, why would you want the redundancy there? But no, I guess, because I don't know. He shows up as Austin White. That's such a far cry from Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Number of syllables, et cetera.
Still think they should have gave him a new first name. Bill Theory.
Well, as long as it's Bill, because honestly, you can't come up with a better name than Bill Theory.
No.
Bill Theory is great.
It's impossible. It's impossible
that's
to come up with a better
awesome.
name than Bill Theory.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that, we get, and I like that with Vince, it's just, he doesn't want to bother with like the details of it. He's just like, it applies to everybody. New. New people.
Unless there's money to be made off the name they've already established, like Cody, like Gable Steveson.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Then they won't do it.
There's still that question. Of like, okay, let's say Hangman Adam Page, biggest young star in AEW World Champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he was like, fuck this place, I want to go to WWE, they're not going to change his name.
You wouldn't think so. He's a former AEW champion. There's name value associated, especially as a former AEW champion going to WWE, the competition. That's
deal.
A huge deal, you would think.
This is what we pay for. Yeah.
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 And therefore, you would think they wouldn't change his name.
Let's go through some of these then. MJF.
They wouldn't change his name.
They wouldn't change his name, right?
I wouldn't think so, no.
They wouldn't change his name. Jade Cargill.
Maybe.
Possibly, right?
Maybe
in a couple of years, no.
Yeah.
But right now?
Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Possibly. Yeah.
But it also depends on how much leverage the individual person has in terms of retaining that to a degree,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if Adam Cole were to go back to WWE or entertain an offer for them in a few years, it's entirely possible. By that time, he might be AW champ too, and just really advanced his own brand to the point where they couldn't even think about changing his name.
Yeah, I don't know. I was really kind of surprised that they wanted to do that when he was coming from NXT. I was like, that's kind of nuts. You're going to sign this guy to like a 3-year deal, and you're worried about, and you want to change his name.
I know, because you think you look at Tommaso Ciampa, and his situation is pretty comparable to Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
former NXT champion.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely
carried the brand on their back. Ciampa keeps his name. You think Adam Cole would probably change his name too, unless it's just one of those things where, well, we already have Michael Cole. We can't have two people with the same last name in the show because it's going to confuse people.
That's the you're probably right, and that is the stupidest thing.
It really is.
That is the dumbest thing. Then you change Michael Cole's name.
Yeah.
You don't change Adam Cole, baby.
No.
Was that dude on Fact or Fiction last night?
Eddie
Glickman?
Yeah.
Baby.
So yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, assuming this is a policy that's gonna carry forward for I don't know, a decent amount of time, who it's going to apply to and who it's not going to apply to.
Yeah, absolutely. And as with all things with WWE, it's going to seem fairly arbitrary, and it will be. It's going to be all because it's Vince's whims.
Whims of Vince, yeah.
Change it. Don't change it. Give him the stick. Don't give him the stick. This is kind of interesting. Speaking of WWE, apparently they're interested in a GCW sub-brand, although a very popular one. So, of course, as we all remember, Larson, WWE tried their hand at a shoot-style format with Raw Underground, a year sometime during pandemic.
Yeah.
And after some early promise, we're talking about week 2.
Yeah, week 1 and 2.
Yeah, it pretty much shit the bed and was abandoned by the WWE. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Meltzer mentions that WWE might be interested in acquiring another similarly themed property. We're talking about GCW's Bloodsport. Now, if you recall also, before we get into the actual quote here, the first thing that so many people, because Matt Riddle, I think, was the originator of Bloodsport.
Yeah.
And when Raw Underground dropped, I think he tweeted something like, "This looks familiar."
Yeah.
So there were immediately some noticeable parallels, and people were bringing this up on social media.
Yes.
So from the newsletter here, Meltzer points out that Brett Lauderdale on his podcast said that the biggest wrestling company in the world has expressed interest in the Bloodsport brand. He said there had been discussions. He also said that Stephanie McMahon invited him to WrestleMania on Sunday, put him in a suite, and came by to say hi and said a lot of nice things about GCW. There is a picture of them, but I didn't know if GCW, who, hey, they probably got some money these days, went ahead and got a suite themselves for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't know.
Apparently the claim is Stephanie
Yeah.
put them up in a suite.
So if we're really going to parse this bit here, there's several things to look into. One, when you see the phrase biggest wrestling company in the world, you automatically assume WWE because they are literally the biggest wrestling company in the world, but they also brand themselves as sports entertainment. So.
Oh, wow.
And also nothing here about acquiring the brand per se, just interested in it.
Oh, well, Brett's a promoter.
Yeah.
He's a promoter. Yeah.
But maybe they want to have, maybe they want to say, hey, Bob Lashley, you want to go to GCW Bloodsport and show what a badass you are? Go ahead. That would be cool.
Okay, that would be mind-blowing. That would be absolutely mind-blowing.
I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be awesome.
No, that would be awesome. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's really difficult. Look, this is fun. This is really cool to think about. But Brett Lauderdale, he's a promoter. So who the hell knows what any of that means? You're absolutely right. This dude could be, just dropping all this, misinfo and info and half truths and stuff like that, just to drum up some word, just to drum up some interest. For all we know, GCW did pay for that suite, and she was taking a picture with every, Tom, Dick, and Harry there who plunked down that sweet money for a suite.
Okay. Yeah, you did correct yourself. I thought you meant the sweet money as the SUITE money, but you said sweet money as an SWEET.
Yeah, see what I did there?
For the sweet, yes.
A little play on words. So yeah, because he's living the sweet life, man.
Well, it could be either.
It could be either one,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's that show. So yeah, I don't know. Who knows what this is? Hopefully it's something cool. Bob Lashley at Bloodsport.
Hell yeah.
Do it. A Moss at Bloodsport?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That'd be killer. Veer comes on Bloodsport.
That'd be great.
I'd love it.
That would be great.
I'd love it.
That'd
be sick. Who knows if anything will happen with that.
I doubt anything will happen with it.
Mox. Could you imagine that? Mox versus Bob Lashley at Bloodsport?
That'd be
the
pretty
problem
huge.
is that somebody's got to lose a match at Bloodsport.
I know, and the politics of that.
Nobody is going from AEW and losing at Bloodsport, and nobody's going from WWE.
Double knockout. That's what you do.
That's what we got to bring it. We got to bring GCW's Bloodsport to when we do the We Book Raw in 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, be our stomping ground tournament. Remember that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a shoot fight tournament.
God,
you only win by submission or KO.
We're a couple of geniuses, man. Let's talk about another genius. Chugs.
Adam
Cole, Bebe. So this is always very interesting, and we were always trying to wrap our heads around this one. So late in 2020, reports surfaced that WWE had instituted, of course, a ban on their talents using third-party platforms like Twitch and, of course, Cameo. You guys remember we had all sorts of purple going on our thumbnails at the time. It had a picture of Paige in the Twitch logo, Adam Cole in the Twitch logo, angry Vince McMahon, right? So in a recent interview with Fightful, Adam Cole Bebe talked about whether he was asked to stop streaming on Twitch during his time in NXT. And these transcripts come to you from our friends over at Wrestle Talk. He said this. So yes and no is the best way I could put it. Like, it was in some ways mentioned to me about, Twitch maybe being a problem. And then I kind of gave them my 2 cents in the sense of, I'm not using Adam Cole. I'm wearing video game t-shirts. I don't curse on my streams. I was very, very careful thinking, if there's a 7-year-old WWE fan watching me play this game, I don't want them to go, oh my God, Adam Cole said what? I was very, very careful about that, and I still institute that to this day, even with AEW. But what I kind of, in a lot of ways, again, made it very clear to this person that Twitch was something that I really did not want to give up and was not willing to give up. And fortunately for me, they just kind of let that slide. Kind of just said, okay, all right, we're just going to let it go. And then I managed to continue to stream on Twitch. That's awesome. He said, look, I'm going to play by the rules by which I'm not going to get in anybody. I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm not going to give you guys any problems, but I'm not giving this shit up.
And he did basically everything he could to separate his Twitch property from the Adam Cole persona.
Still does
to this day.
And
I believe around this time it reported that this Twitch ban just applied to main roster talents, not NXT talents. So, of course, at the time, Adam Cole was in NXT, and I don't know where this falls in the timeline regarding him potentially negotiating a new contract with them. If this was a thing where they brought to me, he's like, no, I'm not doing it. And they were like, well, he has leverage. We want to re-sign him. We don't want to alienate him in any way.
We don't want to piss him off, yeah.
But, even around this time, there's other NXT talents who were still streaming on Twitch, even though main roster talents could not.
Up to a point there was, because at a certain point, a bunch of them, even before they hit main roster, like Dakota Kai stopped. Remember there was that group that just sort of, they made sort of kind of like a pseudo statement together or at the same time, and then they stopped. Dakota Kai's back on, but she's taking the Chugs route. She's Charlie Girl. And I don't know. I sort of don't think I've only noticed her playing a lot of Little Nightmares. I haven't noticed her doing any wrestling related stuff there. I could be completely wrong about that. I don't know. Maybe she plays 2K. I don't know. I think she might be playing. I think she might have played some 2K stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Look, man, that's great for him for saying, look, I know that I'm not doing anything wrong, and you guys don't really have a whole lot of leverage over me, so I'm just going to do it.
Yep.
And then you guys do what you do.
Yep.
And Chugs is still a very popular thing for him, and he seems to love it. Honestly, the fucking nicest guy.
Yeah.
Even on Twitch, whenever we rate him, he'll stop whatever he's doing, Elden Ring, whatever, and he'll go full screen, full face cam, be like, thank you guys so much. I'm Chugs. I'm a variety streamer.
Basically, I don't know what it was, but recently there was several people talking about the first person encounters with Adam Cole, and everybody across the board, nicest dude, nicest guy. Honestly, the nicest guy. I was lucky enough to meet him in person once. I'm aware of that. I like bringing that up, don't you?
When it comes up, it's apropos to the conversation. I'll absolutely bring it up.
I mean, that wasn't necessarily okay. Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about
next time we play basketball. I'm gonna remember next time I launch a three, I'm gonna bring that up.
Sure, I'll make sure your feet are behind the line. How about that?
Oh man.
Let's talk about speaking of nice guys. Apparently, W. Morrissey on Impact's a nice guy now. He had a great promo to open up the show.
Let's talk about some Impact. Absolutely, man. What did you think? So, it's been a while. I know.
Last time I watched, I bring up Morrissey being a nice guy because last time I watched, he was a heel.
He was a bad guy.
And now he's got a face turn. You got Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, Chelsea Green coming after him. I imagine that's going to be, if it has not announced already, might be a match on Rebellion on the 23rd. I mean, Impact is and has been for a while a consistently good, if not a bit unspectacular show.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's consistent. It's really consistent. You know what you get going into an episode of Impact. You get some pretty good wrestling. you're gonna get some decent stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this week there was like a really long talky bit that kind of went nowhere.
Yeah. Luckily, it was towards the finish of the show.
Yeah.
Like,
and then the main event was really good. So
the main event was really good. I thought it was a darn good show. I thought that it was kind of interesting watching it. Excuse me. So they were from Philly this week, and from whatever the ECW. It was like the ECW arena,
2300 arena, whatever they call it.
Yeah. Right. I thought that it looked a little bit different. Production wise, it felt like a little bit more New Japan influenced with some of the stuff they were doing with their cameras.
There were a lot more crowd reaction shots throughout. I noticed that.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to Impact though for having a much beefier crowd.
Yeah.
Not talking about the individuals. I'm talking about the
larger
amount
crowd,
of people
rather than
in the crowd.
30 or 40 people that were showing up to their TV tapings in Nashville.
It seems like they're actually getting some traction. And the product is actually, it's like you said, it's not spectacular, but it's solid. I could see, if I could see somebody hey man, I only have 2 hours. I want to dick around with all these other companies being into Impact, and people seem to be staying there for a little bit longer. They have their own, I guess you can call them pillars or whatever, that stick around for longer than just a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty decent episode. You got Rebellion coming up next weekend. So there's
Saturday,
one more episode.
Yep.
There's the go home episode. We're going to run this down here, and then we'll talk about some NXT UK. Kicked off with the W. Morrissey promo. Said it feels good to be back in this arena on his terms. So if you guys remember, I guess the last time W. Morrissey was in this arena was the incident when, didn't he have a seizure or something? And he had to be sort of taken out. He says that was the lowest point in my entire life, and I had nowhere to go and I had nobody to go to, but tonight I come back clean, sober, in the best shape of my life, and the first time in my life I can finally admit after 34 years that I'm not alone, and that's because of you people, the fans. He gives a Face You People promo, and he says, so thank you for your support. He says, I was given a second chance, and the good Lord knows I'm going to take advantage of every opportunity I've been given. And then he's interrupted by that son of a bitch, the most professional wrestler,
Brian Myers.
Myers.
He says, boo-hoo, what exactly do you want? For people to feel sorry for you? So he says, Morris, you've been handed a golden opportunity, one the boys and back could only dream of, and you pissed it all away for a good time. Says, people should feel sorry for me because you're a menace. You tried to sabotage my commentary career and destroyed valuable collectibles I had ringside. History is going to repeat itself. And if you keep messing with me, you'll end up half dead on the floor of this arena again. Oof.
Oh,
So Morris, by this time, Myers is on the apron. Morrissey charges him. Myers drops off, and they kind of run around ringside a bit. Eventually, Morrissey catches up to Myers, starts beating him up, sets up a table, looking for a powerbomb. Then Chelsea Green comes out, distracts Morrissey, and then Cardona blasts Morrissey with the Digital Media Championship. Myers super kicks him, and then they put him through the table.
Yeah. Oof. After that, so I guess are we gonna get Cardona versus W. Morrissey at Rebellion?
Something like
what
that.
is that? I was trying to look at the Rebellion.
Yeah, there's 9 matches on the card already, so I don't remember if that was on there. After that, we got Deonna Purrazzo in the Champ Open Challenge. Willow Nightingale answers, wants a shot at the Ring of Honor Women's title. Fun match.
Yeah.
Finish saw Willow looking for a moonsault. Deonna counters with the powerbomb. She's looking for a pile driver. Instead, Willow counters with the backdrop, hits a clothesline. And right out of that clothesline, Deonna goes right into an armbar. And then she's doing a double Fujiwara armbar for a finish now. It looks like it hurts.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how she got the win.
I could totally see. Because Willow's not signed with AEW, is she? I could see NXT scooping her up in a heartbeat. She's so good. Totally get a name change.
Yeah.
After that, we had a Mickie James interview. Of course, she's in a thing with Chelsea Green. She says, me and Chelsea, we're just getting started. She says, I was personally excited about wrestling Chelsea, but she thinks I treat her like a little sister. It's like I'm about to give her an ass whooping a big sister would dish out. So Chelsea steps in, says, I don't need anybody else to kick your ass. Mickie says, yeah. And then Dexter, they trade shots. Cardona and Myers step in. and they hold up Mickie James so Chelsea Green can get in a couple of licks there, put the clobbering on, and leave her laying.
Yeah. Then we got Tasha Steele's interview. She's got a match against Rosemary at Rebellion. She says, I know Rosemary and Takei. They have a lot of history. She doesn't forget that Rosemary took the tag titles from her. She says, but now I'm on top of the knockout mountain in the mind games that Rosemary wants to play. I'll be ready for him. And then like a bunch of lights flicker on the screen, and then Rosemary and the rest of the K show up on the monitors behind her and talk some trash and then laugh.
Ooh, yeah. Good stuff. After that, and I noticed also like the backstage stuff wasn't as ill lit.
Yeah.
As usual. It was a bit softer, so that was nice.
Yeah.
After that, we had Jonathan Gresham versus Rocky Romero. This was
a fun match.
Such a fun match. This is really, really cool. Gresham wins with, I love how you put it here, a crazy slingshot roll-up thing.
I don't know how else to describe it. He slingshots himself off the apron into the ring and seamlessly into like a crazy roll-up type deal.
Yeah, and I love Rocky's reaction to this. Was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
How did I just all of a sudden lose this match?
Yeah, I know.
We had a really cool Josh. There was two of these. Josh Alexander, from his Josh Alexander's perspective, and he's of course got this match against Moose coming up at Rebellion, and they did another one. So a couple of video packages with Josh Alexander and Moose, really, really well done, hyping up their match. Of course, Moose recently speared Josh Alexander's wife during a show, so that was that's the genesis of this feud. Well, the genesis is before that when Moose
cashed in the
trophy.
Yeah,
exactly.
He won the title from Josh Alexander the night Josh Alexander beat Christian for the title.
Exactly.
We're backstage, and Speedball Mike Bailey's warming up with the heavy bag. Ace Austin steps in. They got like a weird kind of friendship thing going on. It's like friends, but they're not. And Ace Austin's of the impression they're a team, whether they are or not. Anyways, so Ace is like, hey, Josh Alexander broke Madman Fulton's ankle last week. He's not making it to Rebellion, so it's just going to be you and me. And Mike Bailey goes, yeah, you and me at Trey, because they're facing Trey Miguel for the X Division title. And Ace says, no, you and me, you know what I mean?
No.
And then Bailey says, I know exactly what you mean, and then just walks out on him.
Yeah. So Ace wants those two guys to take out Trey Miguel.
Yes.
And then Ace Austin will low blow.
They will face off. Yes, and probably that. But Mike Bailey's like, no, I'm not teaming up with you.
I know your game. You're making it fairly obvious.
Yep.
After that, we had Steve Macklin versus Alex Shelley. So, in my understanding, this is also another triple threat that's going down.
Yeah, it's Macklin, Jay White, and Sabin.
Right. Okay. All right. So, of course, this entire time, Macklin is being distracted by Sabin, Alex Shelley's running buddy. There you go.
Yeah, if Chris Sabin, I watched this, but let's make this joke anyways. Chris Sabin just kept pointing at his hand, and Macklin's like, "What are you pointing at? What is that?
It's just the crease
that's
between
that's your thumb joint. Why are you pointing at that?
And your finger.
What are you pointing there for?
Stop doing that.
Stop doing that.
Motor City.
It's like that's your thumb joint.
It's like, no, this is Michigan. It's your hand.
There's the Upper Peninsula though. You can't forget about that.
Upper Peninsula. So anyways, Macklin gets distracted by Sabin, which is happening the entire match, and Shelley's able to hit the Shell Shocked for the win, which kind of, I think, doesn't look great for Sabin going into this triple threat. You got Macklin, you got Sabin. So Sabin's probably going to end up eating a pin, it's going to be this. This is my guess. Sabin's going to eat Blade Runner. Macklin's going to throw Jay White off him and get the pin on Sabin.
That could be because Chris Sabin beat Jay White finally at a multiverse of matches over Mania weekend.
Okay. All right.
So
that's my guess here.
Sabin ain't winning for sure.
No, he's there to eat the pin, and Jay White ain't eating the pin. So all things coming up Macklin.
Yep. Seems that way. So earlier on Being the Impact, BTI, the Influence fire Caleb.
That's a big story beat for Being the Impact.
I know.
For a pre-show. Yeah. And then also this, Morrissey powerbombing Caleb through the table. Yeah. That's a big I mean, could you imagine? What if he gets hurt? Can you imagine getting hurt for a fucking Being the Impact?
Yeah, no. Following that, we see Madison Rayne backstage. She's on her phone with Tennille Dashwood. She walks up to Giselle Shaw, and Shaw's like, oh, sorry for your loss tonight. And Madison's like, we won. We didn't lose. And she goes, no, because you couldn't keep Caleb's influence around. And then Madison says, nah, me and Tennille will be fine. If I remember correctly, I pinned you Giselle at Multiversal matches. We're going to be fine without Caleb. And Shaw just goes, see about that.
Pretty weak comeback there.
Yeah.
After that, we had that aforementioned Moose video package. Pretty well done.
Yeah, it was
Said
really
he
good.
had completely clear conscience, so I could sleep fine at night, knowing that I speared Josh Alexander's wife. After that, oh boy.
So here, let me try to truncate this. So it's Honor No More. They come to the ring. They pretty much talk about the history between him, Mike Bennett, and Matt Taven have in that building, what that building means to Ring of Honor and how that relates to ECW, and how Philly fans are known to be some of the most passionate pro wrestling fans. However, when it comes to Ring of Honor and specifically them, fickle.
Mm-hmm.
Fickle. Turn their backs on. Bullet Club comes out. They say, we're the best. It's pretty much the gist.
That's good. Yeah, that's true. They take the long scenic route saying we're the best.
We're the best. We're the best. And so Chris Bay then challenges them to a fight. Brawl breaks out the ring, spills out to the floor, and then PCO hits a senton off the top rope of the floor, takes out everybody because he's got a match against Jonah next.
Yeah, so why not do that right before you have a match?
I mean, that's perfect PCO reasoning.
It really is a very PCO thing to do. So yeah, you get that for the main event, PCO versus Jonah. This was tons of fun. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know how PCO does what he does. I mean, at this point, this dude's just hitting so many swantons from the top onto so many aprons and just tumbling down. And that's what happened in this. Jonah's able to get out of the way. Eventually, he hits a tsunami off the top for the win. And then he blasts PCO with a chair. Then he puts a chair on him, hits another splash. Of course, this is sending a message to Ishii because they've got a match at Rebellion as well. All right, then we had NXT UK. Again, another fun episode. It's kind of a bummer, though. We are seeing the disintegration, the dissolution of Gallus, Larson. Very sad about this.
I am sad, too. They got one of the best theme songs in all of wrestling.
True.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you. They have mastered the three-way handshake.
Yeah.
Their chemistry is top notch.
It's great
together. If this is beginning and the end for Gallus, it's gonna be pretty sad. But at the same time, we can celebrate their time together,
which has been a while. They've been a
very
group
beginning.
Since like the beginning.
Yeah.
Gallus boys on top. No
more. Seemingly
Gallus
no more.
boys on bottom now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that continues to disintegrate because they lost to the lowly team of Dave Mastiff and Jack Stars. No disrespect intended to them, but Gallus was tag team champions for like ever. Joe Coffey, perpetual main eventer, and now they've all lost to friggin' Noam Dar, and now the brothers. The Coffey brothers can't even get on the same page. No, they can't even. They barely looked at each other. They couldn't even get a handshake down. Like Joe Coffey was going for a fist bump, and Mark was trying with the. Yeah, that was a mess.
It was all a mess. Yeah. So Jack Stars with
a power bomb
got the pin on Joe Coffey.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty shocking. After that, we had a Ilya Dragunov interview. And this is like right after his match last week. He's like, hold on, I got to catch my breath because I just had like a near-death experience out there wrestling Roderick Strong.
That was great.
And so awesome. Roddy walks in and he's like, hey, we're going to see each other again. And then Jordan Devlin, of all people, walks in. He got beat by Ilya with both the Ilya's hands tied behind his back.
Ilya literally had his hands tied behind his back. And he still was able to beat Jordan Devlin. What claim does Jordan Devlin have to be rolling up in his Baby Gap leather jacket?
This is what he said. He said, when I said empty arena, I didn't mean tables and stuff. 101, I could beat you. You might have the title, but I'm the Irish Ace.
Ilya should be laughing his ass off.
I know.
He's like, bro, I'm sorry. I beat you with my hands tied behind my back. No, I like the little interaction between Ilya and Roderick, though, because Roderick, he said, we'll see each other again, but he was like, I told you were something special.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
It was really good.
After that, we had a Kenny Williams, Sam Gradwell video package. They've got a back alley brawl next week.
Yeah.
Oh, there's just pictures of like shards of glass, broken windows, bricks, concrete slabs.
Yeah. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be good stuff.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Or it's going to be goofy as fuck. I don't know.
One or the other. And then Mako Satomura comes to the ring. She calls out Isla Dawn, says, "Bring me my title back." So Isla comes out to the stage, and she says, "I know it's not me you want this."
Mm-hmm.
She sends the title. Says, "In our short time together, I've grown quite attached to it. I'm willing to temporarily hand it back to you on one condition: I get a rematch." And then she puts the belt on the mat, tells Mako to get one last look at it, because soon it's going to be mine. So Mako picks it up, tells Isla, "If you want to fight again, all you had to do was ask."
Mm-hmm.
And then Isla spits black mist in Mako's face, said this match will take place in my domain, a world of darkness.
Yeesh. After that, we had an Mel interview. She said, I'm going to be watching, what's her name?
Alexander.
So I'm going to be watching her match tonight. She said, I might have shown her a sweeter side, but I'm still full of rage, and it's only a matter of time before I get my hands on Eliza and Xia Brookside.
And then we go to early in the show during a break where Gallus is arguing inside their locker room. And then door opens, Joe storms out, door closes.
After that, so this is goofy. So Wild Boar is feuding with Eddie
Dennis.
Symbiosis. And so Mark Andrews, who actually does have a long history feuding with Eddie Dennis, but now he doesn't have a partner because Flash Morgan Webster left.
Weren't Mark Andrews and Eddie Dennis in the alliance in progress?
I think it was both, because they had that match at Wembley when they did that giant show.
Yeah.
That was their match, and apparently it was just a stellar match. So they've had I think they've been a
feud, but also an alliance.
Yeah. I think I'm sure maybe one of our Brit friends here can help us out. I remember
reading about that. So
they have a long.
This was Mark Andrews saying, "Oh, I know. I've been friends with Wild Boar for 15 years," and then Wild Boar just start yelling, and he was blowing out the mic.
Yeah.
You couldn't understand what he was saying.
Right.
And so,
oh my God, you killed the mic. Yeah, you totally killed the mic. This episode we're kicking off these Friday episodes. Amazing, man. That's great. Maggie says you scared the hell out of me. Oh, we got another. What the hell? Hold on. Let me check. Make sure. Is this a Zoom thing? What's going on with this? Oh, Fridays are wild already, man. Fridays are wild. So yeah, Board just screams in the mic, and Mark Andrews is like, "Nah, where I'm from," and he keeps on pointing out his subculture stuff. And Wild Board just seems mildly confused by the subculture aspect of things, because he's like, "Well, I'm not part of your group. I'm not part of subculture." After that, we had Angel Hayes versus Eliza Alexander. Of course, this is Eliza Alexander's debut match as Xia Brookside's heavy, her heater. And Eliza gets a win after a really stiff clothesline and a shining wizard on Angel Hayes.
Yeah. Then after that, we had Amelia McKenzie interview. She's talking about how all her hard work has been paying off, and she's been training with the best. And then she's interrupted by Stevie Turner, who's just kind of lingering in the background.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, you may have chose to be mentored by Mako, but Mako chose you because she doesn't see you as a threat."
Yeah, you're garbage. And so, yeah, I mean, this has got to be. So I guess has Millie been on a winning streak lately? Did she win against?
I think so.
Is she? Because I know she was on a gnarly.
Yeah, she was on a losing streak for a stretch.
I'm trying to remember who she just if she beat somebody, who it was. Where's her cage match profile?
Anyways, you look for that. Next? After that, we had a Mustache Mountain and Oliver Carter and Ashton Smith video package about their story for the tag titles. Trent continually, now that he has a belt, doing whatever it takes in his mind to get the W, because he can't lose that title.
Angel Hayes and Nina Samuel. She's beat both of them.
Gotcha. So it's going to lead to a feud at some point between Bert, Tyler Bate, and his Bangers and Smash partner, Trent Seven, Del Boy.
Yeah. They got to break them up. Send Bert and Del Boy, Tyler and Trent Seven, to NXT 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Give him some sort of horrible Cockney gimmick or something. I don't know. And Trent could be his. It should look. They should be a tag team, but there ain't no chance in hell they're gonna hire 45-year-old Trent Seven or whatever. I think he's like maybe 40. He's not what they're looking. They're looking for half his age, which is Tyler Bate.
But Tyler Bate with a different name.
But Trent is probably the best talker NXT UK has.
I know. Him or
so
Sam.
Put him on the mic. I would actually dig seeing him as Tyler Bates' manager. I would totally be into that.
Just keep the towels away from Trent.
Keep the towels away from him. Can't trust that.
No. Then we had a really solid main event. Teo Man taking on A-Kid, which seems
maybe
like it might finally be A-Kid's final match in NXT UK.
But now that you've said that, next week he's going to get an interview where he's like, I'm not sure where to go from here.
Yeah.
And then
my flight on the Concorde got delayed.
And then Eddie Dennis will run into him in the Performance Center, and then he'll team up with the new Subculture, Wild Boar, and Mark Andrews for a 6-man against Symbiosis and Eddie Dennis.
Yeah, sounds right. Solid match. Teo Man wins with his great, awesome, it's fantastic, like a flipping reverse DDT finish is fantastic.
That finish is killer, man.
It's
absolutely
great.
Killer.
It's great. We got SmackDown and Rampage tonight, of course. 3 o'clock, we'll be playing some GTA Online with friendos. 4 o'clock, we're going to watch Rampage because the main event sounds like it's going to be pretty awesome. SmackDown, 2 segments announced. You got Jinder Mahal challenging Ricochet for the Intercontinental title. And then Drew McIntyre takes on Sami Zayn.
So, yeah, we're doing that. That's a new thing we're doing also on Fridays. 2 hours of GTA. But this week, because Rampage is on at 4, we're going to do 1 hour GTA, 1 hour Rampage. We're opening the entire thing up to the public, including GTA. So yeah, that should be fun. We'll be doing that. And then, that's that Mattress Man. Let's see here. Did you mention what's going down on Rampage?
No.
Cool. On Rampage, Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole in a Texas death match. They're going to be bleeding.
Oh, yes.
The Blackpool Clobbering Club versus the Gun Club. That's all my confidence points on the BCC.
Oh, that's right. We can actually gamble on these matches tonight, too.
Because it's live.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
channel points, not real money, by the way.
Right, channel points. And then Ruby Soho is according to Maggie, she read somewhere that it's been 113 days since Ruby's been on TV.
Sounds right. I think I saw something like that, too.
It's a long time. Versus Robin Renegade in the Owen... That sounds like a WWE name. In the Owen Hart Tournament qualifying match. All my confidence also on Ruby Soho. I mean, it's going to be 3 matches and it's kind of all gimmies.
Yeah, I know.
Page versus Cole, I'll at least be interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to get to some questions here in a second. You know what? That'd be kind of fun, man. We haven't done this in a little while. And I know we asked the friendos a little while ago to leave us some ratings and reviews in the podcast realm. So every Friday, we're going to take a look at some of your comments, some of your reviews. It's a free, easy way to help support Going In Raw. Try to boost us up in the rankings. Yes. Let's listen to this guy, Lubricant Hornet.
I know
That's
that name.
That's a familiar name.
I know that name.
Listen to the scathing criticism he gave us.
Oh, let me hear it.
I really enjoy this pod.
Ooh.
Steve and Larson are great dudes.
Ooh.
If I could critique one thing, it would be Steve's fear of bidets. Poor dude has got to polish that rusty sheriff's badge. He speculates that Larson's rusty sheriff badge is just fine. We'll neither confirm nor deny.
I mean, I don't have a bidet, but I don't have an issue with them.
I'm not going to say I fear them, but I would probably steer clear of them. Let's see here. Here we go. Section Leader Sanchez says this. Best Wrestling Podcast. What's up, guys? Been listening to y'all since your machinima days. My go-to listening podcast when I'm at work driving. Keep up the great work. And Steve, your Stone Cold impressions are hilarious. That's not me. That's our Stone Cold impersonator, Phil McDonald.
I mean, it might not be for long, not because he's not good, because price is getting through the roof.
Yeah, dude. He's able to charge more and more these days. Absolutely.
Through the roof. While you scan for those, we got a couple new patrons. I'll shout out right now. J Modzilla, Jimmy Cologne, and Sam. Thank you all.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is interesting here. Richard A. Sounds like a Severance name. Says the best wrestling podcast. Says these guys are absolutely hilarious. Steve's impressions kill me. Larson's sense of humor and ability to seem like Steve's erratic energy constantly annoys him. Makes for some hilarious banter. Seems? I'm not doing my job if you're just faking it.
That's not kayfabe, brother.
I want to get under your skin.
Oh, you're under. Oh, we got one more patron here. Bob Zombie. Thank you, Bob Zombie.
Oh, that's awesome. Bob Zombie. Let's see here. I want to find, let's find a bad one here. Oh, here's this one. What is this one? This one gave us 5 stars, a thumbs up for the title. Yerp0091528 says, I love Larson's lack of energy. Interesting. That's all he said.
Okay. Well, I'll keep doing that. For sure.
Uh-oh.
For sure.
So I scrolled past a ton of 5-star reviews to get to this 1-star review.
Good. That's what I want to hear.
The title of this review is negative. Just
That's
says
the title?
negative. That's the title is negative.
All right.
But then the actual meat, I understand why he said that. Too negative, too AEW biased.
That's all it says?
Yeah, that's all it says.
All right.
We are well-known AEW sweaties, Larson. Let's see here. And then the latest one. There's a bunch of these, though, but thank you so much. The latest one is from 47 Ness. Says, survey says, another win for the shit twins. He says, always fun to catch up on the week-to-week with this podcast. Sure, not necessarily 100% with all their wrestling opinions, but at least they discuss and evolve their thoughts openly, and that's saying a lot. He says, P.S. I always mark out to references to the Nick. I'm that 0.5% who enjoys it. Oh, I love
that was a good show. That was a good
show.
show.
What a spectacular show. Let's answer some questions, man.
This is all we are.
This is all we are, man. Just a bunch of guts. Let's take a look here. Got some questions. Jason Lewis asks, how believable is the heel authority trope in 2022?
I think it's still believable. I think it's just kind of, it's been played out.
There haven't been a lot of new sort of innovations with the heel authority thing, but I'm hoping Sonya Deville might bring something new to it.
Yeah, maybe. Anthony Tobias, will there be any title changes if Battle of the Belts champs retained? Champs retain. I'd
be shocked if anybody got titles off of the champions right now.
Yeah.
Nikyle says, if Steve, Larson, and the Enforcer had to be renamed, what would be your new names? Mine would be Cletus.
All right.
It'll be Cletus.
All right.
That's what Lacey has. It's my karaoke name. Yeah. Lacey's got it tattooed on her.
All right.
So
all right.
I'll be Cletus.
Oh,
what our names? Our alter egos back at the Machinima shorts that we did. Thanks, guys.
Oh, Kenneth Habershaw.
Yeah, Kenneth Habershaw. What was my name?
Bill Coyote.
Oh man, Bill Coyote. That's the name right there. And then the Enforcer would be he'd be Astro Heavy.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Bill Coyote, Kenneth Habershaw.
Kenneth J. Habershaw III, to be exact.
Greg Morris, what do you think will be the main event of SummerSlam? I'm going to go with Roman Drew.
Roman Cody.
Could be. That could totally be.
Like maybe Cody wins count out at Madison Square Garden against Roman, and then they have the title match there.
Mm-hmm. Brandong asks, Tony Khan does not want Satnam Singh's debut to be the worst in AEW history. So he calls somebody that he knows books wrestling worse than anybody, you guys. How would you book the worst debut? I would do this. Here's my idea. So give me Claudio cameraman. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what we do. So next week, Samoa Joe is once again defending that Ring of Honor TV title in the main event. And it's against, I don't know, Dalton Castle. Joe wins. And at the end of the show, Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt, once again, they got the box. They come out, and Joe's like, you're going to do the same thing, aren't you? So they open the box, like, hey, we got a prize for you. And then they pull out. And what they pull out is not a middle finger. It's a little miniature, and he's like CG'd version of Claudio Castagnoli. So it's like a little tiny Cesaro.
Good.
And then every week he gets a little bit bigger.
That's good.
and it's just confused. It's like, why is he so small? And Tony's like, yeah, I'm just trying to tank this into the ground immediately.
That's good. Yeah. That's right atop of that.
It's really bad.
It is. But to answer the question, that's a good answer to the question.
It's very confusing.
Fear and Loathing asked you, going into Raw partner asked to borrow a few bucks. What's the limit that you don't care or ask for it back? I assume it means monetary limit.
As a shoot, I don't know. You're good for it. So, like, if you're in a real bind and you're like, hey, you know,
Steve, I need $10,000 right now.
I don't know if I could get that. I don't have that in cash. I'm not liquid, man. You know,
come on, man. I need the money, Steve.
If you approach me like that, I'd be like, But if you're like, hey, listen, man, there's like I got some giant goober in my head, like a big tumor or something in my head, and it's gonna explode. And doctor says he needs 10,000. I'd be like, okay, let me talk to Lacey about refinancing. You know, I mean, I don't know. You're good for it. I don't want you to die.
Yeah,
you're good for it. I'd hook you up to the extent that I could hook you up.
Yeah, same.
Sure.
Same.
You know.
Same.
But in kayfabe, like $10. That's the
in kayfabe, I can go 50.
You think you can go 50? All right.
I'd go 50.
Whatever you go, I'll go one more.
But then after like 3 weeks, I'd be like, hey, let me depress you, but you got my money.
Yeah, I'd say, how about this? We take it to the basketball court. I pay my debt off.
Double or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Then I just get myself in a hole. It turns out you've been
I've been hustling you the whole time.
You've been hustling the whole time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. All those L's, man. Let's see here. Roz Cody will end on this one. So he said, actually, no, we're going to end on a different one. But he says, so today you covered Impact and NXT UK. What other promotions would you like to cover if you had the time? Stardom. It'd be Stardom. And then we'll end on this one. Nick, White Brownie, says, have you guys considered making the Dynamite and NXT reviews into one like you did this week? He says, I feel like it flows better and gives you guys more rest. The problem with that is we have advertisement obligations. Mm-hmm. So we have to run 5 a week. Now, what I could see us doing perhaps maybe on like once a month, because we've been sort of doing that. We get together here at the house. We produce some gaming stuff. We do a gaming live stream for Friendo Club TV, and we do like a retro review like we did with King of the Ring 96. I think the sort of the loose plan is to do that like once a month. Mm-hmm. And in that case, we will be rolling the NXT review into the AEW one on those weeks.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not huge on it because that's 4 hours of wrestling. We got to try to get into a roughly 8 hour podcast. I feel like I've rushed through the AEW stuff too much when we do both.
The AEW
together.
Or the NXT stuff?
The AEW stuff.
Yeah. You're like, I don't care about rushing through the NXT stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I tend to agree. I mean, I don't. If it wasn't for the ads, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll take that extra afternoon off.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
For sure.
But, you know, the bottom line is, financially speaking, we got to make that money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Mayor Planet used to just rush through the NXT stuff. I don't like rushing through any stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.